Welcome to Get Solutions. This is Lokesh. If you still not yet subscribed to this YouTube channel, so please subscribe today only so that you will get my latest videos. So in previous session, we have already discussed the concepts, that is acquisition or absorption and takeover, and also we have discussed what is acquired company and acquiring company, and also we have discussed the differences between the amalgamation and acquisition. So in this session, we are going to discuss the next concept, that is types of amalgamation. Generally, the amalgamation can be classified into two types based on the nature, that is amalgamation in the nature of merger and amalgamation in the nature of purchase. So before going to know about these concepts, so first of all we have to know what is the difference between this amalgamation in the nature of merger and amalgamation in the nature of purchase. Let me discuss now the differences between the amalgamation in the nature of merger and amalgamation in the nature of purchase. So first difference is based on the method of accounting. See, amalgamation in the nature of merger. So pooling interest method is generally used for the accounting purpose. So it is also called as amalgamation in the nature of merger. The pooling interest method is the another name for the amalgamation in the nature of merger. That's it. So that's why this amalgamation in the nature of merger is also called as pooling interest method. So similarly, there is no another name for this amalgamation in the nature of purchase. So purchase method is generally used for the accounting purpose under amalgamation in the nature of purchase. So it is also called as amalgamation in the nature of purchase. And the second difference is based on the applicability. So amalgamation in the nature of merger is applicable for the amalgamation concept. That is, you know already, amalgamation is also called as merger. So merger is nothing but combination of two companies to form a new company. Ultimately the process called as amalgamation. So that's why amalgamation, the nature of merger, is applicable for the concept of amalgamation. Okay, see, similarly amalgamation in the nature of purchase. So purchase is nothing but purchasing of assets and liabilities of the another company by the another existing company. That is acquiring the assets of the another company. So which means the concept related to acquiring and the concept related to acquisition. So that's why amalgamation in the nature of purchase is related to acquisition, that is applicable to acquisition concept. And the third difference is based on the how the companies are going to record its assets and liabilities in the books of account. See, assets and liabilities and reserves of the transferor company are recorded at their existing carrying amount or book value. Under amalgamation, the nature of purchase, assets and liabilities are recorded either at existing carrying amount or by allocating the consideration to the individual assets on the basis of their fair value or agreed value. So in this difference, you have to know what is book value and what is agreed value, right? See, in this difference we are going to learn how the companies will be going to record its assets and liabilities in their books of account. See, existing carrying amount is also called as book value. Okay, with the example I will give a clarity, that is what is existing carrying amount or book value and what is the agreed market value or fair value. See, many times I have given this example. Company A and company B going to merge together to form a new company called C company. So in this example, A company and B company is nothing but transferor company, right? So ultimately C company called as transferee company, right? So why C company called as transferee company? In the sense, because C company only purchasing the assets and liabilities of the both transferor company, right? So assume before transferring the assets and liabilities, A company has the fixed asset, that is 50,000. Assume before transferring of assets from A company to C company, A company has the fixed asset value 50,000. Okay, so while transferring the fixed asset from A company to C company, A company sells its fixed asset at the rupees of 60,000. Okay, see in this example I will give a complete clarity. So now this 50,000 will be called as book value. Okay, so existing carrying amount, but A company will be going to sell the fixed asset at rupees 60,000. So this is agreed value, this is fair market value. At rupees 60,000 the fixed assets of A company will be going to sold out to C company based on the fair market value or agreed value. Now in this example, that is before transferring the asset, that is the value of fixed asset is 50,000, that is book value. So while transferring, the fixed asset of the A company sold out to the C company at rupees 60,000. This is agreed market value or fair market value. So this is the difference between the book value and agreed market value. And one more thing you have to keep it in mind, this book value will be given in your problem, that is in the balance sheet, and this 60,000, that is agreed value, will be given in your problem only, that is in adjustment. Okay, now see the concept. Recording of assets and liabilities and reserves of the transferor company are recorded at their existing carrying amount. Okay, now you will get an idea, right? See, transferor company will be going to record their assets and liabilities based on the existing carrying amount, that is nothing but book value. So based on book value, it will be going to record the value of assets and liabilities in their books of account. So similarly, in case of amalgamation in the nature of purchase, the company will be going to record, that is assets and liabilities are recorded either at existing carrying amount or book value, or they are going to record their assets based on the agreed market value. Okay, so if the company, that is the transferor company, will be going to sold out at the same value in the books of account. So books of account, that is book value nalli ಏನಿದೆಯೋ ಅದೇ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಸೋಲ್ಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನ್ಯೂ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ, ಸೊ ಬುಕ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂನೇ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಫ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ಅಗ್ರೀಡ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾನರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ನ ಸೋಲ್ಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಗ್ರೀಡ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ನ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ದ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಸೋಲ್ಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸಡ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಆಸ್ ದಿ ಬುಕ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ, ದೆನ್ in the adjustment, that is in the while calculation or while doing the problem, we are going to record the same value, that is book value. If else, we are going to take the agreed market value. That's it. Okay, see the next difference based on the profit and loss account of the transferor company. So balance of profit and loss account of the transferor company should be aggregated with the corresponding balance in the profit and loss account of the transferee company. Okay, so if there is any balances in the transferor company, that is after transferring the assets and liabilities, that profit and loss account balance must be aggregated with the corresponding profit and loss account of the transferee company. That is transferor company profit and loss account na ಆ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ನ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರಿ ಕಂಪನಿ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಜೊತೆ ಅಗ್ರಿಗೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರರ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಅಗ್ರಿಗೇಟೆಡ್ ವಿತ್ ದಿ ಕರೆಸ್ಪಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರಿ ಕಂಪನಿ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಅಮಾಲ್ಗಮೇಷನ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ನೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮರ್ಜರ್. But under amalgamation in the nature of purchase, the balance of profit and loss account appearing in the financial statement of the transferor company, that is A and B company, whether debit or credit, loses its identity. Okay, so you have to observe and you have to keep it in mind the examples. A and B is the transfer company and C is the new company. Okay, then you will get a clarity about the concepts. So in this case, see, under amalgamation the nature of merger, the balance of profit and loss account of, that is the balance of profit and loss account appearing in the financial statement of the transferor company, that is under A and B company, whether debit balance or credit balance, that is positive balance or negative balance, loses its identity, because this amalgamation, the nature of purchase, is related to the acquisition. After acquiring the assets from the another company by the existing company, the company will be going to loses its identity. So even the profit and loss account balance is also loses its identity, either it is a debit balance or credit balance. So that is the difference. So under amalgamation, the nature of merger, the balance of profit and loss account must be aggregated with the corresponding balance of the transferee company. But in case of amalgamation, the nature of purchase, the balance of profit and loss account of the transferor company will be going to either debit or credit, it will be going to lose its identity. That's it. Okay, so see the next difference based on the treatment of non-statutory reserve. That is, so before going to know about these differences, first of all you have to know what is a statutory reserve and what is non-statutory reserve. Okay, let me discuss now first the statutory reserve. See, statutory reserve, the name only indicates as per the statute, as per the provisions, as per the law. Okay, so as per the statute and provisions, the company will be going to maintain the reserves for non-specific purpose, that is general reserve. So general reserve maintained by the company based on the statute or provisions for possible claims. Okay, see, for example, take insurance company and insurance agencies. So each insurance agencies will be guided by the state, that is individual state. So as per the regulations of the individual state, the insurance company will be going to keep a reserve for possible claim, that is in order to protect the insurees. So it is a compulsory, because as per the statute, as per the law, the company will be going to maintain the reserves, that is statutory reserve. So similarly, the non-statutory reserve is nothing but it is not a compulsion by the law or provisions or statute, but to be the safer side, the company board of directors thinks that to keep a small amount of reserve in the company. For example, take a specific purpose, that is replacement reserve for a fixed asset. So the board of directors thinks that in future, if any damages will be occurred for the fixed asset, then this reserve will be going to helpful to recover that fixed asset damages. Okay, so intentionally the board of directors, intentionally the companies will be going to kept a small amount of reserves for the safer side. So these type of reserves will be called as non-statutory reserves. Okay, so in this non-statutory reserves, the companies will be going to kept a reserve with intentionally, but under statutory reserve, as per the provisions and law only, the companies will be going to maintain the reserves. So this is the differences between statutory reserve and non-statutory reserves. See, in this case we are going to learn how this non-statutory reserves will be treated under the different nature, that is under the nature of merger and under the nature of purchase. See, treatment of non-statutory reserve. Credit or revenue or any reserves should be recorded at their existing carrying amount in the same from as at the date of amalgamation. See, in case of amalgamation in the nature of merger, any capital and any revenue or profit and any statutory reserves should be recorded at their existing carrying amount, is nothing but at the book value, that is from the date of amalgamation. From the date of amalgamation, all the companies should be record the capital, reserves and non-statutory reserves at their book value. That's it. Okay, see, in case of amalgamation in the nature of purchase, capital revenues should not be included in the financial statement of the transferee company. Okay, so in this amalgamation, the nature of purchase, the completely the non-statutory reserves will be ignored in the financial statement. But in case of amalgamation, the nature of merger, they are going to record the non-statutory reserves at their existing carrying amount or book value. Okay, see, I will give an explanation here. What is statutory reserve, non-statutory reserves? So other than statutory reserves is nothing but non-statutory reserve. So this type of reserves are set up for a specific purpose. See, the replacement reserve for fixed asset. So this is the example for non-statutory reserves. And non-specific like general reserve. So general reserves maintained by the company as per the provisions. So this is non-specific, means it is not a, that is non-specific in the sense as per the compulsion, that is as per the provisions, the company will be going to maintain the general reserve. So it is comes under the statutory reserves. Okay, so see, statutory reserves are retained at the existing carrying amount by the entry. In this difference, they are not going to speak about the non-statutory reserves, means the non-statutory reserves should not be included in the financial statement of the transferee company under amalgamation in the nature of purchase, but the statutory reserves are retained at their existing carrying amount by the entry. Okay, see the differences between the amalgamation in the nature of merger and amalgamation in the nature of purchase, that is about treatment of non-statutory reserves. Under amalgamation in the nature of merger, the non-statutory reserves and capital and revenue will be recorded at their existing carrying amount, but in case of amalgamation in the nature of purchase, statutory reserves are retained at their existing carrying amount, that is book value. Okay, see the difference, don't get confusions. Okay, next difference is based on treatment of statutory reserves by under different nature. See, statutory reserves are returned at the existing carrying amount in the books of transferee company. So transferee company is also called as purchasing company. Okay, so let's see how the statutory reserves will be treated under the different nature, that is under amalgamation in the nature of merger and the amalgamation in the nature of purchase. See, statutory reserves under amalgamation in the nature of merger are returned at the existing carrying amount in the books of transferee company. Okay, so these statutory reserves, I already explained what is statutory reserve and non-statutory reserves. So statutory reserves, for example, take general reserve. So general reserves are returned at the existing carrying amount or book value in the books of transferee company. So transferee company books alli general reserve or statutory reserves na returned ಅಟ್ ದಿ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಂಗ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಬುಕ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಏನಿದೆಯೋ ಅದ್ರ ಬೇಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸಿ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಮಾಲ್ಗಮೇಷನ್ ದಿ ನೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್, ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಯುಟರಿ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ಡ್ ಟು ಅಮಾಲ್ಗಮೇಷನ್ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್. Okay, so in this amalgamation the nature of purchase, the statutory reserves, that is general reserves or any other related statutory reserves, all statutory reserves under amalgamation in the nature of purchase are completely transferred to amalgamation adjustment ಅಕೌಂಟ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಅಮಾಲ್ಗಮೇಷನ್ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ನ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಮಾಲ್ಗಮೇಷನ್ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಗೆ ಯಾವುದೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಯುಟರಿ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟಾಗಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಮಾಲ್ಗಮೇಷನ್ ದಿ ನೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮರ್ಜರ್, if any statutory reserves are returned to the transferee company based on the book value or existing carrying amount ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದಿ goodwill and capital reserve. Okay, see amalgamation in the nature of merger. So if any differences between the purchase consideration or purchase cost and the value of the net asset taken over must be adjusted against the reserves. See, this is very important difference. Under amalgamation the nature of merger, if there is any difference, so when we will get the difference in the sense that is when the transferor company will be going to transfer its assets and liabilities to the transferee company. For the assets taken over by the transferor company by the transferee company, then the transferee company will be going to pay some of the consideration to the transferor company for taken over the assets and liabilities. Okay, so from transferor company, the transferee company assets and liabilities are taken over. For that, the purchasing company will be going to pay some of the amount to the transferor company. Okay, so this asset taken over value and the purchase consideration value, if there is any difference between this purchase consideration cost and value of the net asset taken over by the transferee company, must be adjusted against the reserves of the company. ಅಂದರೆ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ ಮತ್ತು ನೆಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ಓವರ್ ಇವೆರಡರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಬಂದರೆ ದಟ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ವಿತ್ ದಿ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸಸ್ನ ತಗೋಬೇಕು, ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸಸ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಮಾಲ್ಗಮೇಷನ್ ದಿ ನೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್, ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಸಿ any differences between the purchasing cost or net asset taken over will be treated as the goodwill and capital reserve. Under amalgamation in the nature of purchase, if there is any differences between the purchase consideration and net asset taken over by the company, so that difference will be treated as ಗುಡ್ವಿಲ್ ಆರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಅಂತ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಮಾಲ್ಗಮೇಷನ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ನೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮರ್ಜರ್, ದ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ದಿ ರಿಸರ್ವ್. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಮಾಲ್ಗಮೇಷನ್ ದಿ ನೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್, ದ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಟ್ರೀಟೆಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಗುಡ್ವಿಲ್ ಆರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್. ಸೊ ಗುಡ್ವಿಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಯಾವ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾನು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ how the companies will be going to treat the goodwill and capital reserve. Okay, that's it. The next difference is based on incorporation of assets and liabilities. So in this difference, we are going to learn how the companies will be going to register and incorporate their assets and liabilities. Okay, so under amalgamation the nature of merger, the company will be going to incorporate and register its assets and liabilities based on the existing carrying amount or book value. So book value ಏನಿರುತ್ತೋ existing carrying amount ಏನಿರುತ್ತೋ ಅದರ ಬೇಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಇನ್ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಈಚ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ನ. ಸೊ ಅಂಡರ್ ಅಮಾಲ್ಗಮೇಷನ್ ದಿ ನೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್, the company will be going to record at agreed value or fair market value. Means transferee company ಬಂದು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರರ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಹತ್ರದಿಂದ ಎಷ್ಟೆಷ್ಟು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಗೆ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡಿದೆ ಅದ್ರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಂದರೆ ಇನ್ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂಡರ್ ಅಮಾಲ್ಗಮೇಷನ್ ದಿ ನೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಮಾಲ್ಗಮೇಷನ್ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಟೆಲ್ ಯು why we are going to open the amalgamation adjusted account while doing the problem. So don't get confusion here. So you have to understand no need to open amalgamation adjustment account in the books of purchasing company. Okay, so in case of amalgamation in the nature of merger, the companies are no need to open the amalgamation adjustment account in the books of purchasing company. So amalgamation in the nature of purchase alli, amalgamation in the nature of merger alli ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಮಾಲ್ಗಮೇಷನ್ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡೋ ನೆಸೆಸಿಟಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬೈ ಪರ್ಚೇಸಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಆರ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರಿ ಕಂಪನಿ. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಮಾಲ್ಗಮೇಷನ್ ದಿ ನೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್, ದರ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ನೆಸೆಸರಿ ಟು ಓಪನ್ ದಿ ಅಮಾಲ್ಗಮೇಷನ್ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ in the books of transferee company or purchasing company, because all the reserves, that is statutory reserves, can be transferred to amalgamation adjustment account in the books of transferee company, that is under amalgamation in the nature of purchase. So amalgamation in the nature of purchase alli statutory reserves na ನಾವು ಬೇರೆ ತರ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. How? In the sense that all statutory reserves must and should be transferred to amalgamation adjustment account. So therefore the companies are going to must and should they going to open the amalgamation adjustment account in the books of transferee company or purchasing company. So these are the various differences between the amalgamation in the nature of merger and amalgamation in the nature of purchase. So it is very important concept for your 12 marks or 6 marks. Okay, so it is also important for your UGC and NTA exams. Okay, so thanks for watching. For latest videos, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. So thanks for watching once again.